I'd like to welcome my first guest onto the stage, and he's Daniel Haaksman, who runs Man Records, and he's got a lot to say about the whole global bass phenomenon. Is it on? Yeah.
Test, hello. Hello.
Okay. So you've been one of the pioneers, I guess, of the contemporary global bass movement with your record label Man Records and your kind of drive to release amazing music like baile funk from Brazil. So I guess maybe the first thing to speak about is just why you did that. What drove you to doing this?
Well, actually, it all started in 2003 when a friend of mine came back from Brazil. He was studying in Rio, and he brought me a stack of CDs and said, "This is what you should hear. It's the music from Rio." And I first thought, okay, maybe it's a kind of bossa nova, electronic bossa nova version. But then it turned out to be funk, and I was blown away by the energy and the power of the music. And at that time, I'm a disc jockey since the late 90s. No, actually, since the late 80s.
Okay.
And at that time, I was really bored by electronic club music. You know, I'm living in Berlin, so I was exposed to all different kinds of club music sounds. And at that time, there was a big wave of electro clash. People started to play rock music in clubs, and I was really bored by that. And when I heard this music, I thought, wow, this is really powerful. It is very percussive. It's full of samples, and no one knows it in Europe. And I started to play it in my DJ sets, and I saw that people were reacting to it very enthusiastically. And so I said, okay, I have to go to Rio to check it out myself, because it was in 2003 and 2004 when file sharing wasn't a big thing, especially not in Germany yet. The internet was really slow. And this music, particularly funk carioca, or baile funk as it is called today, you couldn't get it in Europe. You couldn't order it through mail order. So I had to go there myself. And when I went there, you know, I didn't speak Portuguese. It was going to terra incognita, like a complete unknown territory. But I worked my way through it, you know, met people, said that I'm a DJ from Berlin, interested in this music. I went to bailes, went to street markets to buy funk CDs. And out of my first visit, I made a compilation called Rio Baile Funk Favela Booty Beats, which came out in 2004. And interestingly, at the same time, there was this American DJ called Diplo, who was also in Rio, exactly the same moment. But we didn't know of each other. And only in summer 2014, when I was interviewing Roots Maneuver here in Berlin, his A&R at that time was Etienne Tron from Secous. And I gave him the CD and I said, this is what I put together. And he said, wow, there's this other American dude, he's called Diplo, he just made this mixtape called Favela on Blast. And 2 months later, MIA put out Bucky Done Gone, which was based on the track from Daisy Tigrona, Injeção. So it was like a kind of a wave that came up in 2004 when foreign DJs picked up the sound from Rio and renamed this sound baile funk, and a kind of international hype surrounding this sound emerged.
Just before everyone got involved on the internet, I guess. So how do you see your role in the current situation now? Obviously, so much of this music is available online and people can go and search for it themselves. So what kind of a space do you think that Man Records occupies now in 2016?
Yeah, when I started the label in 2005, the internet was already there, but there was a few blogs, there was file sharing going on, there was no iTunes, there was no Apple Music. There was no SoundCloud. And today, if you run a label, you have a lot of competition, because labels used to be like the filters that would select out of the music that was there the best tunes. And nowadays you have SoundCloud and you have many different channels through which people can discover music. And a label is one of these channels. So in my case, I would consider Man Recordings as being like a quality channel. Because of all the hundreds of thousands of MP3s floating around, I just pick the 3 best package them and put them on my label and put them on iTunes and the different record shops. But I also give them a kind of visibility and longevity, which many of the MP3s that circulate on blogs don't have. Like within a week they're forgotten, they don't have a packaging, they don't look good, like the artwork is not particularly good, they don't have videos, and also they don't get promoted. And when artists put stuff out on Man Recordings, I send it out to radio stations, radio DJs, club DJs, etc. And additionally, running a label these days is like running kind of a rights agency, because the stuff that's out on SoundCloud is many times not legal. It consists of many samples, etc. So whenever people want to license tracks from SoundCloud, it's really difficult, especially if you want to license music to movies or video games or advertising, etc. So stuff that's put out on labels is kind of sample-free, is legally clear, and I think increasingly that's the role of labels, is giving this kind of legal authority and advice, both for artists but also for the licensing industry.
Well, I guess it's providing a sort of counterpoint to all the activity that's happening otherwise online.